All right. We are on the island of St. Maarten. This is Grand Cas Airport. Tango Foxtrot Golf, for those of you who are interested. We're going to take a quick flight today from here over to the island of Anguilla, which is just across the sound here. All right, let's get going. Rotating beacon on. Mixture rich. Carb heat is cold. Master switch on. There is no fuel pump. Prime the engine 3 times. Alright, throttle open a 1/2 inch. Starter engaged. Both of the magnetos, 1000 RPM. Check our oil pressure. Oil pressure is good. Let's turn on our taxi light. Put the transponder on standby. Alright. Okay, let's set our altimeter, which is 1018. I have this set for live weather and live traffic, and the live weather is correct. Alright, let's lean the mixture for taxi. Windy day today. Winds are 07015, gusting 26. Alright, let's engage the brakes. Turn off the parking brake. Alright, we're going to make a right-hand turn. Test the brakes. The brakes are working. The purpose of today's flight is for some sightseeing, and one thing in particular, which is the new Anguilla St. Maarten St. Barts ships program. There is I'm going to put on the brakes right here, engage the parking brake. I believe it's Seaside Simulations, and they have put this program together. Test the flight controls, up on that side, down on that side, up on that side, down on that side. Flaps down and indicating, down on that side, down on that side. Flaps up and indicating, up on that side, up on that side. Elevator is working, flight controls are free and correct. Mixture rich. Let's go to 1700 RPM on the throttle. Alright, left magneto, got a drop, back to both. Right magneto, got a drop, back to both. Carb heat, on, got a drop. Carb heat off, back to 1700. Oil pressure is good, oil temperature is good, fuel gauge is looking good, suction looking good for the gyro instruments, so we will come back to 1000 RPM. Do a throttle idle check here real quick. Running smoothly. Alright, so I want to see this this program that shows the ships around these islands. Alright, transponder, squawk altitude. I like to put 3 notches of nose up trim. Alright, we are going to disengage the brake. And get ourselves moving. We're going to be taking off runway 12. Alright, we're going to stop right here. Runway looks clear. I don't see anyone on final.
Approaching runway 1230. Entered runway 1230.
So, wind is out of the east. Pre-departure brief. Any power problems on the runway, we're going to pull the power back and stay on the ground. Rather go off the end of the runway slowing down than try to nurse a sick plane into the air. If we do get off the ground and have a power problem at that point, under 500 feet, we're going to look straight ahead. Above 500 feet, we're going to make a left turn into the wind to try and come back to the runway. Alright, runway 12 checks. Left crosswind correction. Mixtures rich, carb heat is cold. Transponder is set. We are good to go. I'm going to put in the power here before I release the brakes. Power looks good. Engine instruments are in the green. And I'll let go of the brakes. The rudder is pretty sensitive in this simulator. Alright, airspeed is alive. 60, 65, and rotate, and we're off. Not only is the rudder pretty sensitive on the ground, pretty sensitive in the air as well. Alright, airspeed is looking good. Good rate of climb. It's gonna be windy today, so expect some turbulence. Yeah, you see the vertical speed going up and down. That is St. Barts off there, and there's our first ship. See that right there? Put in some nose down trim. That's St. Barts off there at about our 2 o'clock. Gonna make a left-hand turn. We're about standing still right now because we're going 75 knots directly into a 20-knot wind. So I think 1,500 feet is going to do it for us today. Because we want to be able to see these ships. 2,400 on the RPM. Looking good. I saw a boat out there by that island, and I did. Directly ahead there is the island of Anguilla, which is where we are ultimately going to end up. But first, I'm going to take a lap around St. Martin and have a look at the ships and the scenery. You can see, I just noticed the other day that they put your custom tail number on the underside of the wing. It's not on that side, but right there you see November 4753 X-ray. This resort right here is the first place I ever stayed in the Caribbean. That was our first trip to Anguilla in 2014. Sailboat out there. This is pretty neat. Some sailboats over there. That is Grand Cas Airport right there where we just took off from. And in the background is St. Barts. The Grand Cas Airport right there is a part of the St. Martin Scenery Pack, the St. Martin, the Princess Juliana Airport Scenery Pack. They included Grand Cas in there, which is great. That's the island on the, or that's the airport rather, on the French side of St. Martin. It's actually two distinct islands, more or less. There's the Dutch side, which is where Princess Juliana is. And the French side, where we just took off. Reduce the power a little bit to come down here a little bit. This is, you can see Princess Juliana Airport right off here at our 1 o'clock or so. Over there. I'm not sure how happy they would be in real life with us coming over the airport at 1,000 feet, but and look at that. That is right off our nose there. Believe live traffic. This is Princess Juliana. One of my favorite places in the world because when I'm there, I'm on my way to Anguilla. See all the ships in the harbor here. It really does add to the immersion and the feeling of really being there. Yeah, see, there's somebody landing right there. A very short final. St. Bart's there, straight out ahead of us. Over there is Saba, the shortest commercial runway in the world, which I'm sure pretty much everyone is familiar with. Sailboat cruising right along, and he would be moving too because he's directly downwind. This coming up here is Philipsburg, which is the cruise ship harbor. The capital of the Dutch side of the island, and it's also the cruise ship harbor. You can see the cruise ships up here, cargo ship there as well. It's really nice to see the ships because one of the things that has sort of irked me, I guess, from the start of the simulator is all the boats are underwater, and somebody explained it to me once why that was the case. Apparently there's a reason with how the water functions and how the sim operates, but it doesn't change the fact that it really kind of ruins the the immersion of being here, So that's Philipsburg. That looks great. And life is about to slow down for us because we're coming around here into this wind. You can see the wave effect, which I think looks really good. I think that's new. I don't remember seeing that before the most recent update to the simulator. Alright, oil pressure good, oil temperature is good. Everything seems to be looking fine. The only things I really know about the French side of the island is sort of where Orient Bay is, which is the big beach tourist area. That's coming up here. But first we have our harbor here, which is great. Nice marina, full of boats. Looks great. And I love the way the water changes color depending on, you know, kind of your direction from the sun or to the sun. I think they've done a really good job of giving the water depth and pretty neat. This is Orient Bay. Back in, you can see right there, looks like an object underwater. But back in December, I believe it was, there was a woman killed here in a shark attack. She was I think snorkeling. Here's the airport we took off out of, Grand Cas again. So we've done one complete circle around the island. You can see what I mean about how the water changes color depending on where you are in relation to the sun. Really neat. But the woman was I think a French tourist, if I'm not mistaken. And the first person killed by a shark attack in a very, very long time at St. Maarten. Shark attacks are actually quite rare in the Caribbean. Very rare. Alright, so that was our tour of St. Maarten. Got our look at the ships. So I'm going to go do a little bit of the same here on Anguilla. Princess Juliana again off in the distance there. Hoping to get back there this year, 2021. We'll see. Actually quite hopeful that we will. So this ahead of us is the island of Anguilla. One of the other things that I wanted to check out on this flight was an airport modification that somebody did on flightsim.to. If you guys are not familiar with that, go check it out. It's an amazing website with basically community mods, fixes, utilities, new airports, all kinds of things. I mainly use it to get airports in the Caribbean, small airports in the Caribbean. And this airport, Anguilla Airport, was had some elevation issues in the ramp area. Anguilla is a very flat island. I think the highest point on Anguilla is, it's certainly below 300 feet. Very flat island. But the way the airport was done in the original simulator, there was a big elevation drop off on both sides of the airfield, and you're gonna see here the ramp area. It's flat now, as you can see, but it was there's a huge drop off going in the direction that we're going in. And if you were parked facing the terminal building and you released your parking brake, you would roll right off literally just roll off the airport. It was pretty silly. And I put in a request on, I tried to fix it myself, but I just don't have the know-how, and I requested on Flight Sim TO for somebody to correct that issue, and somebody did, which is really neat. So this is Sandy Ground, which is the harbor in Anguilla. And you can see the little pier there, the dock, and you can see they've added all these ships, which is great, these boats. Some beach bars there and restaurants. Kind of a cool place. And then over here is a little island. I forget what it's called, but you can go out there and do day trips and have lunch, and they have, you go snorkeling and cocktails and so on. That island further out I've been to go snorkeling. It's really neat. And then up here, this beach that we're coming up on is Meads Bay, and this is where we stay. That's the Mulihana Hotel right there, and then right here is sort of where we stay. It's the most beautiful beach. That is, this hotel here on this little outcropping is the Four Seasons. It doesn't really look quite like that. then just a bunch of private homes. It's kind of quiet this end of the island. And all the way down here in the end is one of the neatest things you can see on Anguilla. It's called the Arch. And it's over right there. But it's literally just this big rock arch. It's really pretty neat. If you Google the Arch Anguilla, you will see it. How about that for stock scenery on a flight simulator? Not too bad, I do say. And when you are doing this kind of maneuvering at low altitude in an airplane, people sometimes get so engrossed in what they're looking at that they kind of lose track of what they're doing, which is flying an airplane. And people have died doing that. You stall and spin if you're not really paying attention. Especially in like a tight turn like I just did at low altitude. If you're not paying attention to your airspeed and you're pulling the nose up to kind of increase the angle of bank, you can wind up in trouble. Oil pressure and oil temperature, good. Fuel's good. We're coming up here on Rendezvous Bay. Boats down there. And Banky Bank's place. And then you've got the Cuisinart. And you got this big gorgeous beach. You see the golf course which belongs to the Cuisinart. And this big long gorgeous beach. And there's a place on there called the Sunshine Shack. And it's about right where I'm looking, right there, where that little boat is. And it's a shack. And it's a great place to hang out. Harvey and the boys. Some great barbecue. This is, that square right there in the water is the dolphin pond. I don't know if they, I think the dolphins were taken away before the Hurricane Maria? No, it was the one before Maria. But this is the ferry terminal. So if you take the boat ferry from St. Maarten, this is where you wind up. And right over here somewhere, pretty much there, would be the FBI ferry boat inn. Christian and the group. Make one of the best hamburgers you will ever eat in your life. And alright, let's fly the airplane here. Carb heat on. Bring the power out. Slow us down into the white arc. Put in a notch of flaps. Get another quick look at sandy ground. They're talking about putting cruise ship terminal in here. I hope they don't do it. It will certainly change the feel of Anguilla. Part of its charm is that it's difficult to get to. Okay. We'll put in the second notch of flaps, power to 1700. The wind should be coming a bit off our left. This is definitely going to be a shallowish approach because with our
1 mile, final runway 11.
with our ground speed into a 20 knot wind, really 300 feet a minute is about the glide slope you want. Alright, carpet's on, mixture's rich, flaps are set. Okay. Nose is pitching up there. Just over here is a really, really good Indian restaurant. Alright, windsock shows the wind just straight down the runway pretty much, so we're gonna play it like that. Power coming back. Power off. Almost got the stall horn there. Heard it just for a second. Alright. That was a pretty good landing, if I do say so myself. And this is what I was talking about. This whole area over here dropped off dramatically. So fortunately that's been fixed, and I'm going to give a shout out in the comments below to the guy who did it, and I'll put a link to this airport. Alright, we're clear of the runway. Lean the mixture for taxi. Throttle at 1000 RPM. Put in the carb heat. Put up our flaps. I just realized that I left the taxi light on for the whole flight instead of switching to the landing light before takeoff. So once again I have shown there is no such thing as a perfect flight. And if one ever happens, it's pretty unlikely that I'll be at the controls when it does. So we'll just make up our own spot, which will be right here. Alright. Mixture idle. Cut off. Throttle is idle. Flaps are up. Turn off the taxi light. Turn off the rotating beacon. Battery master off. And that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this and see you soon.